This dark horse presidential hopeful has mastered the art of the internet, bringing in millions through online donations. Joining me from Washington, Republican presidential candidate Congressman Ron Paul. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning. Nice to be with you.
We have a lot of viewers who are psyched that we finally have you live on the show because we get a lot of emails of supporters of Ron Paul, and that is where you have found your base, right?
Yeah, really, unless they found me, I think it's more like that because we offered a program and a political position, and the young people especially and the internet has found us, and we're very delighted because our numbers are growing. We have a lot of volunteers. We have over 1,000 meetup groups, and the fundraising has gone very well during this campaign through the internet.
It's amazing because you did raise $5.4 million in the third quarter, more than 2 times what you raised in the second quarter. That's a lot of dough, and yet you stay at about 4% in the polls.
Yeah, I mean, we've moved up. It was 1, then 2, then 4, and yesterday it was 1 with 5. So we are going up. The big question is do we have enough time? Because we are growing exponentially, both in number of volunteers as well as the money. But, you know, they're moving these primaries up, so there's a race going on. But we're in pretty good position. I think we have the third amount of cash available.
Right.
The primaries are going to start, you know, here shortly. But we're in pretty good shape, especially for those very early ones in New Hampshire and also Iowa. So we're optimistic, but we know it's an uphill fight.
Congressman, earlier on the show, we had breaking news and exclusive here with the governor of your state, Governor Rick Perry of Texas. He is endorsing Rudy Giuliani. How does that make you feel?
Well, probably not too surprised and a little bit indifferent about it because, you know, the party is a broad-based party. We have the liberal side, and then we have the social conservatives and the traditional constitutionalists, and that's the area that I represent. Now, Mr. Giuliani represents the other side, but we don't want to be exclusive. I mean, I'd like to build the party, which I believe I am, from the young people, and the college kids are flocking to our campaign by offering this traditional conservative, very limited constitutional approach. So I think that it's understandable, and I think that we don't want to chase people out of the party, but I think our wing of the party is alive and well, and I think I can show that the number of people joining us are probably greater than those who are joining the big spenders.
Here's another interesting factoid. A study by the Center for Responsive Politics found that you receive more money from military members than any other GOP candidate. And the reason I find that fascinating is because you are the only GOP presidential candidate who is calling for the withdrawal of troops from Iraq immediately.
Yeah, and you know, sometimes unfairly they challenge us because we take a different position. We take the traditional position that you should only go to war under declaration and win them and get out. And I've taken the position of President Bush when he ran in 2000 of a more humble foreign policy and no nation building. So some people say, well, that's weak for the troops, but it really isn't. It's protecting the troops. I want them to come home. And the fact that we get the money from the military more than all the other Republicans put together is a pretty darn good endorsement. And I've been in the military. I've been in 5 years, so I believe in a strong national defense. It's just that I have a disagreement on the foreign policy.
Congressman, you like to bring issues to people that sometimes are surprised when they hear your answers and your stance. Is that your trademark?
Well, I think that's sort of sad because I come from the Constitution, and when they're surprised, that means they're not quite aware of what Article 1, Section 8 says, and that's sort of a shame. But I'm glad if they notice it, even if they are surprised, they can go back and read it. It is in the Constitution.
Congressman Ron Paul, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
And of course